welcome to this edition of Off the Map Live. Pardon me just a moment. Whoop. On this episode, we're going to be talking with Russ Abbott and Guy Aitchison, both via Skype. They're going to talk a little bit about their upcoming collab, which I'm very excited about. It's happening in October. Russ and Guy will tell you all about that. This show would not be possible without our sponsors, Waterloo, makers of pretty awesome artist workstations. If you haven't seen them yet, they're at every convention. They're basically a tattoo artist specific toolbox. They got a stainless steel top on them. They got all kinds of drawers and widgets and gadgets and a locking safe for anything you might want to put in there. Firearms, money, machines, all that kind of stuff. Also, Neotat, makers of Neotat Vivace rotary tattoo machines. I'm sure you've seen them. They're pretty amazing machines. They're rugged. You could run them over with a truck and they're still going to work. Ray Webb has done it to prove it. And Artisan, tattoo cleanser and aftercare. So, I'm glad you could join us on this show. It's been a little while since we've been coming to you live via the internet. Our last show was at Hell City, Phoenix. We talked with Chet Czar and James Kern live on stage. We did not webcast that one. We're keeping that one to ourselves for a little while. We're putting an archive show together with all of my live convention interviews, which include Paul Booth, James Kern, Chet Czar, Bob Tyrell, and our guest tonight, Guy Aitchison. Once we have all of those together, you guys will be the first ones to know. Our next show, we're going to have Aaron Chance, and if there's an artist out there you want to see, write in. You can put it in the chat room now, or you can email us, and let us know who you want to see. So right now we got Aaron Chance, and the next guest with her could be chosen by you. So, as I said earlier, we've got Russ Abbott and Guy Aitchison. Russ is going to talk a little bit about his upcoming Kickstarter. For those of you who don't know who Russ is, he's an amazing illustrative tattoo artist working down south. He just got a new shop open in Roswell. I'm sure if you do know him, you've seen it on Instagram. His new Kickstarter is about his color wheel. You've seen a little bit of his color wheel in the Tattooist Palette webinar that we offer here at Tattoo Now. But you don't need to hear it from me. I'm going to play Russ's Kickstarter video right now, and then we'll get him on the line, and he can tell you more about it. If you've got questions, make sure you ask him in the chat room, and I'll try to get them answered for you. We'll be back right after this Kickstarter video from Russ Abbott. Thanks for tuning in.
Hi, I'm Russ Abbott. I'd like to start by thanking everyone who supported my original Kickstarter for Ornamental Archive. The book is out now and it's doing great. Today I'm excited to present a new project called the Abbott Color Wheel. When I started tattooing in 1997, the colors available to tattooists were much more limited than they are today. We had all of the basic colors, but if you wanted something like the color khaki, you had to mix that yourself. Well, thanks to great companies like Eternal Ink, we now have a wide gamut of colors to choose from. As I've worked with the colors and prepared seminar materials over the years, I've started classifying and sorting the available tattoo inks into categories. I found that by considering the precise hue, value, and saturation of the colors that I'm choosing, I can make more informed decisions and produce a finer tattoo. So last year, I decided to embark on a massive undertaking. I wanted to design the world's first complete color wheel for tattoo artists. Since I work exclusively with Eternal Ink, I chose to focus on their entire line of pigments. After countless iterations and design changes, we finally achieved a design that met my approval. The Abbott Color Wheel was born. Earlier this year, I unveiled the new design at the Detroit Motor City Tattoo Expo. The response was overwhelmingly positive. Artists were really excited to have a visual guide to go along with their tattoo inks. So many artists were interested in purchasing prints of the color wheel that I ended up selling out in just a few days. But I knew I could do better. Since the Abbott Color Wheel features the entire line of Eternal Ink, I wanted to find a way to isolate specific color schemes and turn the color wheel into a color scheme visualization tool. In his amazing book, Color and Light, illustrator and painter James Gurney introduced the idea of the gamut mask. I found that the gamut mask concept works really well with my color wheel design. So here's how it works. By placing the mask on top of the wheel, the artist can quickly visualize a standardized color scheme and immediately determine the best color choices for the piece. Rotating the wheel underneath the mask will change the colors, but will still keep the visual relationship of the color scheme intact. Since the package includes a variety of masks, one of them is certain to get you really close to a working color scheme that you can use as a starting point in your tattoo project. The gamut masks that I've included with the wheel cover all of the standard color schemes that I teach in my seminar. In addition, the inside flaps of the package feature highlights from my seminar that will help you get the most of the Abbott color wheel. I know I love having my color wheel easily visible while I'm pouring out colors and tattooing, so I'm also including a low-tack adhesive decal of the color wheel. Just remove the backing and apply the print to any smooth surface. It's removable, so it won't damage your studio walls. As I learned with my first project, Ornamental Archive, creating, producing, and fulfilling a creative project like this takes a massive amount of dedication and follow-through. I'm back on Kickstarter today because I believe that I've made something that is truly useful for tattoo artists like myself. I've had a ton of great feedback from fellow tattoo artists, and I'm confident that this product will improve the process for color tattooing. If you start with a good value study and then use the Abbott color wheel to help with color choices, you will be amazed at the results in your work. Well, I hope that you will take the time to read through the rest of the info below and study the available rewards. Choose a reward level that works best for you and share this project with your fellow artists. Thank you.
Hey, look at that. You drinking beer?
I'm drinking, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I might need another one. This one's empty.
I got one for you.
Okay.
Okay, look, here we are. Hopefully folks caught the intro. I talked a little bit about Russ's new upcoming Kickstarter with his new color wheel. Russ, could you tell us a little bit about your new Kickstarter project?
Sure. You know, I've been teaching seminars on color theory for years now, probably 4 or 5 years. And that first seminar that I did, I wanted to make a color wheel that had at least, you know, the main spots of primary, secondary, and tertiary colors filled in with tattoo inks. So that's something that I offered as a supplemental part of my seminar, and it helped me kind of like relate color theory to tattooing. So over the years, I've gotten really serious about completing that project, and it's been through a number of phases. But the most recent one, I finally figured out how to actually scientifically measure the colors of tattoo ink, and that was actually pretty difficult to figure out.
Was that a labor-intensive process, trying to figure out?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of trial and error, you know. Some of the things we tried were, you know, loading tattoo pigment into airbrush and spraying it onto a piece of Bristol board. That didn't work out so well. I mean, there were so many failed experiments. And actually, so I finally figured out how to do it, and I found a method that, you know, basically allows me to test the exact color of the pigment and get it into the computer. So now that I have it in the computer, I can make, you know, try to figure out a method to place every color of ink from Eternal onto one graphic. And so that took a lot of work, trying out different ideas and different design concepts. So finally what I came up with was to place the whole thing on a target, essentially, of value. So it starts in the middle with black, and then it goes through 90% gray, 80%, 70%, goes all the way out to white. And then I turn the swatches of color into black and white to figure out where they go as far as value goes. And that's one of the biggest things that the Abbott color wheel has going for it, is it's really, sometimes it's tricky to see what value a color is, because it might be kind of a bright color and it makes you feel like it's a lighter value. Colors can play a lot of tricks on the eye. So by going through this process and placing them on this value scale, I'm actually able to see the true value of a color. So when I'm, say, going through a gradient, say from a dark yellow to a bright light yellow, I have all the colors that need or would be used to create that gradient all in line on the wheel. So the wheel works like a traditional color wheel in the sense of, you know, you've got your yellows together, your greens together, your reds together, and they're all set up in the same way that you might expect, but they're actually the Eternal ink colors.
So why did you choose Eternal ink in particular? Was there something special about their product?
Well, they have a really wide range of pigment. I mean, it's what I use, so for my seminar, I found that if I was going to talk about multiple brands of color, it was too confusing. And so about 3 or 4 years ago, I started just using Eternal ink, and I found that I was happy with their entire range of pigment. There were a few colors like the nuclear green and graffiti green that I hated at first, but then they actually worked with me to change them. So now I love those colors too. They're just a great company, and they've been supporting me and sponsoring me and helping me to do the seminar. Even like they were always really forthcoming with answering my questions about how tattoo pigment works and what the process is that they use to make it. I mean, they don't give me like
You're not in on the secret formula or anything, right?
Thing like that. They were very forthcoming and helpful, and they truly, wanted to help me understand it so that I could properly teach color to tattooers. So I really appreciate them, and it just made sense to use Eternal.
What are some of the things that sets your color wheel apart from a standard color wheel that you could get at any kind of art supply store?
It's the presence of tattoo pigment swatches on it. I mean, every swatch has the name of the pigment right next to it. So if you've got a cabinet with 150 colors in it, you kind of tend to forget about some of the colors, and maybe you don't even really know, which way they lean. Like there's this color called cocoa bean from Eternal that's, I mean, at first glance it's brown, but I found that when I compared it to all the other browns in the testing, that it was more of a yellow base.
Oh, right
So
on.
it's in line with the yellows, and now I know that it's the darkest brown that I might use when rendering something that's yellow.
Cool. So tell me a little
cool.
bit more about your wheel. I've seen different parts of it. It's not just a one static thing.
Yeah. So that what I just described was the initial design that I came out with as a poster earlier this year, and I sold quite a few of them. But I actually wanted to make this bigger and better idea, so I avoided selling everyone the big one. I would have a few available, and then I would sell out and say that they were sold out. All this time I've been working on this Kickstarter. It took months to film a video. The guys from Sullen TV helped me out with the video and helped me make a nice video, and that took several months to create. We've been working on the actual design as well. So what it is I was inspired by James Gurney in his book Color and Light. If you saw the Kickstarter video, you saw that. James Gurney put out a book with this concept called gamut masks. And gamut masks are essentially, they're masks, they're circular, and they have windows cut out in them, like pie wedges. And so you can only see certain colors through the wedge. So when you have the Abbott color wheel underneath the gamut mask, it isolates specific color schemes. And there were 5 different color schemes that I wanted to be able to include. So the way the design worked out is there's multiple layers, and the layers have different shaped windows cut into them, and they spin on a hub.
We'll show. We're gonna show folks a little bit. We've got your images from your Kickstarter. We can show them a little bit of what those images look like. So, as you're describing it, we'll kind of show people what you're talking about. I know you can't see that, but we're gonna show folks.
It's happening right now. All right, so you'll see the notches around the edge of the wheel, and each notch will have a color scheme associated with it. So when you line up the notches, you know that you've got the mask set up right. And then you might be viewing a triadic or a split complementary, monochromatic, analogous, or complementary color scheme. And so all the colors visible in the wheel under that specific mask are that color scheme. And so you can spin the colors, but the relationship between the colors stays the same. So I envision people using this to show their clients a potential color scheme or to help themselves decide. A lot of times, depending on the situation, there might be a color that's forced on the artist. Like the client may say, I really want purple. So you can run through all the different gamut mask options with purple in one of the windows and see what other colors are there. And usually the idea is that one of those color schemes will feel like it would work. So if you just limit your palette to only the colors shown in the window, plus all the black and white and gray that you want, you'll have a color scheme that's, basically pleasing to the eye. And I always tell people you can kind of go off the reservation if you want and use another color if it feels right. Just use it as a guide.
We've got a question in from the chat room. Someone wants to know, will it help artists who don't use Eternal, and do you have plans on ever doing this for other companies outside of Eternal Ink?
To answer the first question, I think it will. I think that, most of the brands that are putting out as many colors as Eternal have very similar colors. They all kind of seem to be inspired by each other. So as long as you can ignore the color names and just look at the actual color, you can still use the gamut mask portion of the wheel. And I think it could still be almost as useful. And I know a lot of artists don't use only one brand and they like to mix and match. So, it's going to be a matter of looking at the color and sort of making relationships with the other brands. As far as me putting out color wheels for other brands, I don't anticipate ever doing that, no.
Thanks for that. So this is your second Kickstarter. The first one for the Ornamental Archive was pretty successful. Are you using some of the lessons that you learned in the first Kickstarter to make this Kickstarter a little bit more successful, or as successful as your last one?
I learned a ton the first time around, and that one was actually a little bit of an easier quest because, a book of ornament it appeals to tattooers, but also craftspeople and designers and all kinds of people. So, it was actually, I feel like, a little bit easier to raise the money for that one. The color wheel's been tricky. It's hard to get people to understand that when they back a project on Kickstarter, that they're actually getting something back for it, that it's not just about, it's not a charity. I'm not asking people to just loan me money or anything like that. I'm actually supplying them with the color wheel. As long as I meet the goal of $23,100, everyone will get the reward that they choose. But yeah, it's been tricky. It's been 5 days now, and I think I'm about $9,000, which means I'm at 39% of the goal.
Sure.
I'm confident, but I'm also a little nervous. It's last time my Kickstarter was successful in only 2 days, so this time it's a bit different, and it's a little humbling. So many people have reposted about it and tried to spread the word, but the response is still not good enough to make it actually happen. So I'm hoping that.
Well, you've got some time, and so Guy Aitchison is going to be tuning in with us pretty soon right here. He's in the middle of a tattoo, so we're going to get him in here quick.
All right.
He's been bearing with us for the last 55 minutes of our technical issues, so we're going to bring him on in just a second. We can talk a little bit more while Gabe is bringing him up. All right, go ahead, Gabe. You can swing that monitor around. It'll be all right. So what were some of the challenges of the first Kickstarter that you did, Russ?
I think there were a lot of mistakes on my part. The first thing that I did wrong was I didn't ask for enough money.
Uh-huh.
I asked for $10,000 when I knew I needed at least $15,000. But I thought if I don't reach the goal, then I'm not getting anything. And so I wanted to reach the goal. But this time around, I thought, let me make it a more realistic number and let the project live or die based on its own merits. So that was one mistake. The other mistake I made is I just had so many rewards.
Was it?
And they cost a lot of money to ship them all over.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. Was it a lot more expensive to do than you thought it was going to be?
Yeah, one of the things I did last time was I would have a print and a book and some stickers and a wooden skull cutout thing, and every single item in the package had to be shipped, in some different container. So you had to kind of multiply all the shipping costs by 4 or 5.
So you really didn't end up getting as much money as you thought you would get. Did you end up having to kick in some of your own private savings to finish it up?
Yeah, I think I did. It was worth it. I definitely don't have any regrets, but I did make mistakes.
Guy Aitchison, how are you?
Hey, how goes it?
It goes well. Can you guys see each other?
I can see Guy.
Good. Wonderful. Welcome to the show, Guy. Thanks for bearing with us. I know you're a busy man, and we've had some technical issues as you've experienced in the past, but I think we're beyond them. You're a little pixelated. I know you're out in the middle of beautiful countryside. So
Yes.
I expect
Beautiful bandwidth-free countryside. I hope you can hear me clearly.
I can hear you very clearly.
Excellent.
So, Russ, Guy, talk a little bit about
Yeah.
what you guys have in the works. We've been talking a little bit about Russ's color wheel, but other exciting news, you guys have a collaboration tattoo coming up.
Yeah, and this is going to be a sort of a 2-day event, kind of inspired by the thing that Jeff Gogway and I did in I guess it was February, where the first day was open to the public. Anyone could tune in and watch, and we didn't talk really about any technical stuff, but we did talk a lot about design preparation and all kinds of other stuff. Took audience questions, and then the second day was a paid seminar where we really got down and dirty and talked technical and took technical type questions from the online audience, and it was a lot of fun. And so yeah, we've got kind of a big project coming up for October. Russ, you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I know that we're doing a full leg, and I know that
Yes.
the goal is to combine my ornamental style with your biomech style. So I imagine just giant swoopy curvy shapes, matching the flow of the leg, and maybe a few focal points that are kind of maybe like light form based or mandala based. And then I imagine you coming in and laying on all those textures on top and having a lot of input as far as design goes as well. Does that sound about right, or?
Oh, something along those lines. The way that I've kind of enjoyed collaborations the most. I really like when both parties are involved in every part of the project, where you've really got a mix. Like there was a third artist in the room that can only exist when those two are working together, rather than having this person's parts and this other person's parts. Which that can work too. But I really can imagine our styles very seamlessly fusing. The ornamental stuff kind of, it follows a lot of the same rules and principles that biomech does in terms of flow and space, volume, kind of a three-dimensional effect that, even back in the Victorian days when they were, creating this stuff, they were trying to simulate a three-dimensional effect where it was painted in such a way that it was meant to appear carved. So, yeah, it seems like it would be a great mutation of the two.
Yeah, I think so. I'm really excited about the idea of, seeing how you work and getting a feel for what your process is.
Russ, have you done many
Oh.
collaborations in the past?
Yeah, I've done a couple with Nate Beavers, with Mike Chambers. Trying to think. I feel like there's a few more that I'm not recalling at the moment. They were always like that, where we created the drawing together, and both of us were, kind of melded into it, rather than having separate pieces that were uniquely ours. So I'm with you on the process.
So what are some of the things that you can take away from a collaboration, Guy?
Well, it gives you a chance to kind of shamelessly play around in this other artist's workspace. You're not copying or ripping off their style. You've been kind of invited in to see what you can do with it, and of course, you're working together, so it's going to end up containing both artists' voices. Sometimes it's one nice way to start is to one artist will do a very rough sketch. Instead of just passing the sketch over, to actually scan it and reprint it extremely light to where the drawing's visible, but while you're drawing on top of that, directly on the print, it's very easy to change stuff and take it in different directions while keeping the most essential, important, or favorite aspects of it. So at very root level, what you're going to take home from it is a chance to broaden your style a little bit, to take some of the things that this other artist does and find a completely different twist on it, because inevitably you're not going to end up working like this other artist. You're going to end up bringing things home from them that are clearly influenced by them, but it's always going to end up being your own twist.
Russ, do you find the same thing to be true? Do you take things away that you wouldn't normally get from tattooing?
Yeah, that's exactly right, and you'll always pick up on some little technique that you never considered before. You know, there's just you could never realize the subtleties of someone else's technique until you work side by side with them and just watch every little thing that they're doing and question everything. It's just the opportunity to vocalize what you're thinking and have someone else kind of in tune to that and check it. That's, you know, really rare. A collaboration is the way to do that, and I think that's what's really cool about the process of teaching in this way too, because other people are going to be able to hear me question you and you question me, and they're going to get to hear those explanations.
Will you guys be showing the folks watching the design process? Will that be something that they'll be able to see?
Parts of it, yeah. I think that there's going to be some aspects that we're going to be starting a little bit earlier in preparation for this, because it is a fairly epic piece, and we'll probably end up emailing some sketches back and forth before we get too deep into it. So we'll be able to show you those. There will be parts of the process that we may film in the day prior and show you, and then there'll be parts that you'll be able to actually watch. I think we're going to end up stenciling some things and freehanding others. I'm guessing. Freehanding is a great way to get the best possible flow, while stenciling allows you to get much more precise results. And you know, I think part of the objective of this project is we're going to have some areas of it where we're going to get into that kind of, you know, incredible looking, you know, 3D relief geometric stuff that Russ has been doing. Although I can totally imagine some things to do with that would be a completely different take on it. So that'll be another great way for us to mix our styles. I thought maybe it might be nice to play around with the flower of life motif a little bit, since our client Brian, that's kind of part of his motif.
It definitely is.
This way we can personalize the frame a little bit.
So I got a couple questions from the folks that are watching. They'd like to know about how much pre-planning do you guys do for your tattoos? Russ?
I'll start. I'm working mostly digitally now, so I use a Wacom Cintiq, and my favorite program is Manga Studio. And what I do is I take a photo of the client's body part, and I draw directly on top of that. I try to do complete value studies, and then I also can quickly do a color study right on top of that, all in my computer. So these days, I like to start a tattoo with everything already figured out. Which, you know, I don't take the drawings all the way. I don't do completed paintings, but I get them pretty close. So I know what colors I'm planning on using, and I know how dark or light those colors are going to be before I ever start.
I know that most people that come to you, you know, they're letting you have complete freedom with Guy as well. Do you ever take a design all that far and then have a client completely change it? And do you feel like it's worth it to do all of that preparation, even though someone might change their mind?
It happens, but you know, part of my process is letting them in on the design and at least the sketch while they're there for a consultation, and then I just try to make sure that I'm choosing clients wisely. And if I hear any sort of doubt in their minds, I try to let them express that before I get too far into a drawing. But there have been times where your clients have said, you know, man, I'm just not really feeling what you came up with, and I always look at that as an opportunity to put that drawing aside and maybe put it up on the one-shot wall that we have here at the shop for someone else to pick. So, I mean, for me, it's important to do my homework and be prepared, and, you know, I just have to deal with the fact that inevitably there might be an issue.
So, Guy, same question to you. How much pre-planning do you put into your work?
It varies. It definitely varies. Like, there's a back piece I did just the other day that I actually built a three-dimensional clay model, half scale, lit and photographed it, and you know, blew it up to full size. Made the stencil directly from the photo print. So sometimes I'll do that, and I can't do that for every project. It's just it's sort of labor intensive. Although I work with clay very quickly now, the whole model probably took me about 4 or 5 hours. Where to do a drawing with that much detail and get the shading and lighting and all that stuff correct might take me a lot longer. So in some cases, it's actually a very effective way to work. But it does also help expand the vocabulary. So when I'm drawing that kind of stuff out of, my head, I've got a better sense of lighting and shadow and that sort of thing. And I always learn very important things from the models. Other times I'll have a sketch in my sketchbook, and usually, if it's a sleeve, it'll be whatever, a 6 to 8 inch tall drawing. Sometimes I'll draw multiple views. Um, Often I'll draw, as Russ does in his computer, directly on photos of the person's body part. Definitely with Brian, we'll be having him send pictures of his leg for us to start out with, because you'll pick things up, the way the person's leg is shaped, or their body part, how their muscles seem to protrude the most, where the natural dips and bulges are. You might not know that without actually seeing the photo, and that might inspire you to do something a little extra with the piece. So I often try to get photos of the body part and draw on those. At bare minimum, it's going to be a shaded drawing. I want to know what my use of value is going to be. I'd like to make sure that I've got a strong, very clear, readable alternation of dark and light through the piece, which is why I like to draw at a smaller scale. It seems like you'll naturally go to a clearer and more readable use of dark and light if you're drawing at a smaller scale. Get less noodly, I guess. But yeah, at bare minimum, I want to know that much. So if I'm going to be drawing the piece directly on the person, all the shading's in place. I know what my pos and neg relationships are going to be, where my long gradients are going to be, where my true black is going to be, areas where strong black is not going to be used in order to contrast the areas that have strong black. I'll have all that worked out before I start drawing, even if, on their skin. Even if it's a relatively rough sketch, I'll have a pretty clear picture. If it's real familiar material, it can be a pretty rough sketch, and I like to give myself some room to play around the skin, because a lot of the magic does happen there. But in other cases, it is good to have more planning.
What are some of the potential issues or pitfalls that might come with a different, two different styles? You guys have very similar aspects in some ways and very different aspects in others. Are there any potential problems with a clash of style?
I think probably I'm not really concerned about that, because I feel like, we're both going to be involved in the decision-making process, and, I think we're both going to have to give a little bit, and we're both going to give a lot, So I've never really had an issue with any problems. What about you, Guy?
Well, I think that the whole reason why we sort of floated this project in the first place is because there's a compatibility here, what you're doing with ornament, what I'm doing with biomech, your geometric stuff. This is all stuff I can totally relate to. I think that ornament and bio follow such parallel principles that I just can't see how it couldn't be a winning combination, and I think that we also have a lot of mutual respect for what each other does, and that always makes I think that's actually essential for a good collaboration, because then each artist is making sure that there's a strong balance, a clear 50-50 balance of influences in the piece.
Right.
I'm really looking forward to it. So we're gonna have people here in East Hampton live with both of you guys, and as well as people tuning in online. I think it's going to be a good time. How long of a tattoo do you think we're going to expect from this? You guys going to go into the wee hours like you did with Jeff, Guy?
We'll go, I think, as long as we're all able to go. I do the wee hours. When you have clients that are traveling long distances, pretty much exclusively, that's your whole clientele. You just learn to do that, and it's not that I prefer it. I think that because we're going to have a lot of preparation that we're going to be showing people, a lot of the freehanding and that kind of thing we're going to be, doing on camera. I just don't see how we could possibly start very early. So, it's probably going to take us at least to midnight on both nights. We're not going to be laying out the entire leg. We're going to be doing 2 large panels on the outside of the leg, and we're going to be working on the rest of the leg at each other's studios later on.
We've got a 3-camera setup that should be really great for people to see. We tested it out with Rember's webinar and it went really well. So I'm I'm confident that we should have a really great 3-camera setup for this collaboration.
I'm psyched to see the razor sharp HD multi-angle footage that we're gonna get of this thing.
As well am I. So, Russ,
Yeah.
what have you ever worked in the bio style, the bioorganic style?
I took a few stabs at it in about 1998,
How'd it come out?
and so I was tattooing maybe a year, and back then, Guy was probably one of my biggest inspirations back then. You know, my mentor had all of his early books on. I think he had one, Special Techniques for Tattooing, Cover-Ups. Guy, can you remember all those books? Those little
Oh
books?
yeah, the little 35-page thinguses, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
we
I
had-
had this weird thing. I had this weird thing at the time where I felt wrong asking people to pay me money to just hear me talk. Like I had to give them something like concrete to take home with them, and I think I've kind of gotten over that, but because I feel like all the education that's happening in tattooing these days really is helping people. It is absolutely a worthwhile investment, but I'm glad that I had that sort of dilemma at the time, because it inspired me to get into a lot farther into the educational publishing thing.
Right. Well, me too, because definitely didn't have the money, or I didn't know anything about you at the time, but I kind of got to see those books sort of trickle down through the shop, through my mentor. But yeah, I mean, his work was some of the most impressive stuff I'd ever seen, and still is today. So, I'm excited about this collaboration for sure. This is kind of a dream come true.
Yeah, we'll pull out all the stops. This is going to be fun.
So the collaboration happens on October 22nd and 23rd. If anyone wants to tune into that, they can go to tattonow.com and register for that, or they can show up in person here in East Hampton, Massachusetts. We're going to have a really good time. I've got a couple of questions from the chat room that are that really don't have to do with the collab, but I'm going to ask you guys anyway.
Right.
They'd like to know, how do you guys feel about bad copies of your work? Guy, you could address that one first. I know you've got a tattoo to get back to.
Bad copies. Well, I don't know. I think it's interesting because that's the only kind you see. Anyone capable of doing a good copy wouldn't do it. They'll do their own drawing, and that's one nice thing that's happened lately. And honestly, I don't see a lot of bad copies anymore. I mean, people definitely do bad bio, and it's like influenced by Aaron Kane and I a lot of the time, but there's more and more people doing great bio. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's just all part of the ecology of what's happening out there in the tattoo scene. There's going to be people who are taking on big projects way prematurely. They want to do a bio sleeve. They think they're going to freehand on in an hour, and it's going to be all impressive, and they're going to win all the trophies. And instead, it ends up being a lot of bad bio. And I don't know. I don't know really what to say about that, except overall quality of tattooing keeps getting better, and that includes the worst of it.
Right. Well, Guy and I have both, taken the path of being educators and taking a little bit of personal responsibility and helping other tattooers kind of get the concepts that helped us become better. So, in that sense, it's kind of like something that you have to sort of accept, that people are going to be paying attention to you and trying to learn from you. I mean, I put out a book to show how I do ornament. So when I see people use the book, I can only be happy about it, But of course, when they copy my work verbatim and they take an original concept that I did for a paying client, for me, that's pretty irritating. But there's nothing to really do about it other than to try to, educate that tattooer and let them know that what they're doing is not commonly acceptable.
Do you guys have,
It's
what? Oh, go ahead, Guy.
Well, it's also about the public, and I mean, I've tried to address this with, I've got a column with Tattoo Magazine where I've had a chance to talk about this a bit, and a number of other times as well. And I know I'm not the only one trying to spread the word, but to clients, if you find a piece in a magazine that you love, you don't necessarily want to get this same piece. Go to an artist, say, hey, I love this piece. What can you do that's inspired by this? What original piece can you do? Because you're going to end up with something that's original. I mean, it's going to be such a better tattoo because it's original. You just need to get people past this sort of consumer mentality of, oh, I want that. That should be mine. Because this is art. This is not consumerism. You know, it's totally another level of collecting.
And you're gonna get a better tattoo if it, if it's more geared towards you. You don't want a tattoo that was created for somebody else because that's their tattoo. You know, it's gonna mean a lot more if it's geared towards what you like. And people don't quite understand that with things like Pinterest. You know, they just go in and they just want a rubber stamp of a tattoo, and I wish more people would understand that's not what it's about.
We'll never convince all of them, but we can keep trying.
So, do you guys have any ideas for artists that want to get an education and learn more, but they might not have a lot of dough, like education on a budget kind of ideas? What are some of the fundamentals, or how they should learn some of those fundamentals? Either one of you?
Go to conventions.
Yeah.
Right.
And try to meet artists and bring your portfolio and try to get into conversations and compare notes and be involved in the community and absorb yourself into it. I mean, there's save up and take seminars and things like that when you can. I mean, we definitely offer a lot of stuff at Tattoo Education that is really solid material, but that's only part of the picture. Part of it is getting out there and mixing and doing collaborations, even if it's just a bar sketch, with somebody that you met at the convention and you're having a good time with them at the bar and you like their drawing style, they like yours, and you've got a sketchbook. The more of this stuff you do, the better you're going to learn. You're going to learn by getting out of the vacuum and into the larger tattoo community, which is a rich and varied place.
Well, thanks, Guy. We're going to let you go. I really appreciate you talking with us, and hopefully we'll have you on again soon. And I'm looking forward to the next episode of Hypercast. That was one of my favorite things to watch.
Yeah, we need to start scheduling those. We've pretty much got our guest lineup worked out, so it's going to be good.
I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Schedule, but we'll do it somehow. Russ, great to see you, man. I'm gonna get those photos from Geckel and we'll move forward. We've got a month and a week or something like that.
All right,
it's gonna be upon us.
All right, Guy. I'll see you in October.
All right, Ben. Great hearing from you.
Good to talk to you
Russ,
all the time.
Man.
Good night.
All right.
Well, thanks to Guy Aitchison for joining us. He's always awesome to talk to. He's got a lot of insight. So, Russ, how did you first find out about Guy?
Well, like I was saying, I was apprenticing in '97, and we had his books in the shop, and it's I've been following his work ever since, and definitely inspired by it. I got his book, Reinventing the Tattoo, and that thing is like this thick.
Oh yes, we're converting it into a digital version right now here at Tattoo Now. So
that's great.
It is a very dense book for sure.
It's so incredibly thorough. It's some of the concepts in there really stuck with me and inspired my work and helped me, develop the style that I have today. So, there's no one else out there like him.
Well, hey, we're gonna go out to an ad real quick, and then we're gonna come back with Russ Abbott and talk a little bit more about his color wheel, so you guys can really get into what it's all about. If you guys have questions about the color wheel, please write it in the chat, and I'm sure Russ will be happy to answer them. We will be back right after this message. Stay with us.
My name is BJ Betts. Thank everybody for coming. I really appreciate it. My love for lettering has been like way before I even started tattooing. I'll try and keep it a little simple as far as terminology for fonts and lettering, because I'm going to cover everything that I can, cover. And I guess I'll take it from here.
I'll give me 2 good wheels and give me 1 good eye. Give me wide open spaces and clear blue skies. 2 wheels and I'm never alone. A tank full of gas and I may never
So I approach things in a pretty simple manner. When I'm laying out lettering, this is what I do. I start with a real loose sketch and just go on from there.
So all winter long, they eat canned soup, pickles from a jar, yeah, you know it's the truth. Yeah. So when town's too crowded to breathe, and the air's so hot that you just can't.
I like to make everything flow together as much as possible. So let's say I have, I don't know, maybe a T and an H, for example. There's a few things that we can do. You know, obviously we can just make it like that. Yeah, it's cool, kind of boring, but I mean, you know what it is still. Maybe bring that H, if it's the end of the word, maybe. You can, you know, bring that H down, loop it around, and then maybe you can bring that H back over, and now you got that. Yeah, I think that works a lot better than this. It looks cool. You can still play around with it a little bit, clean everything up. Boom, now everybody's happier, and you get to do something cooler.
Hey, are we back? My mic is back. I'm just going to talk over this commercial because I can't see the broadcast right now.
Now you're back.
Hey, I'm back. I'm Ben and I'm back. Hey, Russ, you're back too.
I'm back.
How's everything in Georgia?
It's pretty good today. It's kind of gray outside. Well, it's dark now, so
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's good though.
Did you guys get any of the Aurora Borealis last night?
No.
No? I
don't
looked.
get that here.
No, was it last night? I think it rained all night. The night before? Like it was the night before when it didn't rain. You're supposed to be able to see it all over the East Coast. I didn't see it.
Didn't know that.
I missed it. So let's dig into deep a little bit more with this color wheel.
Okay.
What are some of the advantages of sticking within, a certain color range with a tattoo? I know a lot of people just they'll just pick and choose what they or they'll use a limited palette and use what they think is great. What?
Well, okay. A lot of tattooers get really hooked on a particular palette. I can think of examples of tattooers where, you can kind of tell that they did the work because of the colors that they chose.
There's definitely
a lot
some
of tattooers who only stick to, just black and one other color, like Rimber. He does black and gray tattoos a lot with just one bright color.
right.
Anytime you,
For the record, Rember is moving away from that style and is looking for more full color clients. That's what he. That's what he told me anyway.
I saw from him, and they were definitely game changers. Like that back piece he did with the lady's face and the light mint.
Oh yeah,
It's incredible.
it really is.
But if you only choose one color and make that color the bright color, there's no danger of colors clashing, really. So if you just only do a monochromatic tattoo with one color and all the different values of that color, the color's going to look good. It's when you introduce that second color or the third color that you start to run into problems, if you're just randomly selecting them. So that's what the gamut masks are designed to do. They're going to help guide you. Say, like, if you use if a magenta is forced, and then you want to choose another color that goes well with magenta, then the gamut mask will show you what colors go well with magenta. And you'll be able to see it with your eyes and decide if those colors will work or not. And your client can see them. So that's what this whole thing is about. It's a new product. To my knowledge, no other gamut mask tool exists in any art medium. So it might be fun to sit back and see this idea spread.
I would love to see it for oil painting. I'm a pretty new oil painter, and it would definitely help me a little.
Well, if you go to James Gurney's blog, Gurney Journey,
Wow, catchy.
he's the one who released the idea, to my knowledge, of the gamut mask, and he's got a lot on his blog about it. And he would probably suggest that if you're an oil painter, that you paint your own color wheel and create your own masks. And just the exercise of doing that is probably really educational. However, you can't paint tattoo inks onto a color wheel, because whenever the tattoo inks dry, a lot of them change color and they oxidize.
So they don't represent the true color of what the final tattoo is going to look like.
Exactly. So the method that I ultimately ended up using for finding the colors meant that I had to measure the colors while they were wet. And that was one of the things.
Sounds like you need some sort of secret underground lab to figure all that out.
You do. Yeah, you have to have a secret underground lab and some very, very expensive equipment in order to do what I've done. And I'm not lying.
I get this theme of a question a lot because of what we do at Tattoo Now. We offer a lot of online seminars and things. Do you feel that it seems like a lot of tattoo artists are concerned with shortcuts and doing things the hard way, and how to become a tattooer you kind of have to do it the hard way, and some education might be considered a shortcut. So this question kind of falls in that line from the chat. It says, do you feel by making and selling the color wheel that you might be eliminating some of the hard work and education young tattooers should be doing to fully grasp the idea of it?
By making the color wheel, I'm possibly eliminating.
Are you making it too easy for tattoo artists by making this color wheel? This is a question from the chat room.
Okay, sure. Well, I've been teaching color theory to tattooers for several years now, so I've had hundreds of students take my class, and I feel like the ones who do, that are willing to pay $160 to sit through a seminar and focus on a little part of their craft, are working hard. But I did find that in that process, there seemed to be an easier way to get the ideas across. And not only did I make this product for other tattooers to help teach, but I use it myself. I mean, now that I've got this thing, I've got the stick-on color wheel that sticks to the glass above my workstation, and I use it constantly in the tattoos. So to me, that's evidence that with all the knowledge I have of color theory, and with all the experience and all the hard work I'd put in, that this thing is still useful. And I agree that there's probably, or I understand that there's a lot of tattooers out there who are negative about education and think that, those of us who provide it are, doing something to harm the industry. I just don't feel that way. I mean, I feel like these tattooers are out there and they're tattooing, and if I can do something to help them do better tattoos, then I feel like that's good for tattooing. I don't really want to see a bunch of poor tattooing done in the name of getting experience. I'd rather see artists, excel as quickly as possible. If they're going to be tattooing, then I want them to do nice tattoos.
Yeah, and that means better tattoos for all of us.
I think so. I think it means that more people see good tattoos, and then they end up, getting into tattoos themselves. If all they see is bad tattoos, then chances are they might not collect that first tattoo, and you might not have, someone evolve into a serious collector that brings more to the plate for everybody. So I tend to be optimistic about the future of tattooing, and I think that education is the way to have a better future for tattooing. And I try to listen to opinions that are antagonists to that, and I try to consider them, and I do sometimes kind of curtail some of my ambition when it comes to providing content that is based on color theory to a general public. To me, is not harmful. I can't imagine how that's bad for anybody. So,
yeah, I don't think you're going to encourage anyone to tattoo in their kitchen by offering a color theory class at all. It can only make people better at any skill level that they're at.
Right.
I know that your color wheel hangs on the shop here. your older one. And actually, Joe King, it's in his station. Joe, who's doing a guest spot at your place right now.
Yeah, he's here right now in the other room.
How's he doing? Okay.
He's doing great. He did an awesome skull with a mandala on the forehead thing today.
Cool. Joe's a great dude. So, what are some of the rewards that you're offering this time around for this Kickstarter?
I tried to keep it pretty simple. At the $10 reward level, it's a sticker pack. So you get a sticker logo of the Abbott Color Wheel logo, and then I'll throw in a few Ink and Dagger stickers as well. For $50, you can get the removable wall decal, which sticks to any surface, but you can take it back down and move it around. Excuse me. That's not really the color wheel that I suggest, but I figured it would be good to have a cheaper option because after all the production expenses came in, the full Abbott Color Wheel kit came out to be a little bit more expensive than I would have hoped. So I've got it an introductory price on the Kickstarter for $100 for the full kit, which includes the removable wall decal, but also has the gamut mask wheel that has all the layers connected with the grommet in the center.
Which
And
really
all
is the key to the whole system, right? I mean, the gamut mask. The
Right.
color wheel itself, the extensive work you put into that is amazing. But the gamut mask will definitely help people make their lives a lot easier.
I think so. I mean, it's not something that I've had the benefit of actually using yet because I don't have one, but I hope to have a nice working prototype soon. And I do know that it works. It's just a matter of, in order to make it the way that I want to make it, they have to make dies and cut through paper and print. It's really complicated. It means setting up a press to print 500 of them at least. But we're gonna make a makeshift one, and I'll be able to show people before the Kickstarter's over what that looks like. And then all of that fits inside a vinyl record box. If you ever seen a gatefold vinyl record that holds 2 records,
I sure have, because I'm a vinyl freak. But
cool. Right, I made the Abbott Color Wheel the exact size of a vinyl record, so it fits into the box that a vinyl record comes in, and the inside flaps of the record have like a little color theory primer with all the basics about hue, value, and saturation, and a little bit about how the wheel works, and it just becomes a good way to kind of protect the gamut mask wheel when you're not using it.
and that way you can take it with you wherever you're tattooing. You can bring it with you to conventions and stuff, right?
I suppose you could. It's 12 inches by 12 inches, so if you can carry that along with you, then.
Well, I mean, I can fit a vinyl record in my backpack, so I'm sure someone can.
All right, cool.
I've got a couple more questions from the chat room, if you're willing. I appreciate you being with us for so long.
No problem.
So someone's asking, will you bring back labels on the ink bottles?
The idea with the labels on the ink bottles, I still feel like is a good one. I've talked to Eternal Ink about following up with that and having them actually change their labels so that I can provide the data and they can put it on their labels. According to them, that is a massive undertaking. So if the Abbott Color Wheel Kickstarter is a success and they see the desire for that is there, then I think that they could be convinced to have some corresponding info on the labels. But it's not definitely going to happen yet. So I need people to tell Eternal how much they love this idea and get them to be more excited. Not that they're not excited. I mean, they're totally supporting this whole thing, but like I said, it's just a lot of work to come up with a new system to label the bottles. I thought it would be easy, but in talking to them, it turns out to be pretty difficult to do. But I can certainly provide the info and make that possible for them. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, last year with the seminar that I did with Gunner at Hell City, and actually the DVD for that seminar with Gunner is about to launch. It's about to come out in the next few weeks or so. So maybe I should mention that. But when we did that seminar the first time, I was showing these labels that were, I printed them, and then the idea was that you could go in and write what the value and the saturation was on each bottle. And those just didn't turn out to be very user-friendly, so I decided to pull back on those. So in short, we need to get it printed at the factory and put on the bottle.
So I got a few more questions from the chat for you. Are you still taking clients?
Yeah, I'm taking clients.
You take clients every day, right?
Yeah, no, my books are open for people who want to get the 3D mandala type stuff. And anyone who pitches an idea that's outside of that I'm really attracted to.
I've been really digging the 3D mandala stuff a lot. It's been great. I would love to see all the stuff that you don't post because I know that it's out there.
Yeah, well, I'm working on a lot of big projects still, a lot of old clients that are, still trying to finish stuff up. And, I've been opening a new shop and it's been a massive amount of work for everything I'm doing. So, tattooing is definitely still important to me, and I'm tattooing 4 days a week and always trying to push it and come up with something new. I'm not the type of tattooer that will, continue to do the same style for years and years and years. I always like to evolve, and so sometimes I have to kind of introduce a new concept, and that's what this 3D mandala thing is all about. It's, I came up with a way to, create an effect that I hadn't seen anyone do before. So now I'm just trying to see how many different ways I can interpret it. And
the end product is pretty amazing. They're very striking tattoos. Every time I see one, I'm like, holy shit. They're great. I really enjoy them.
They surprise me too, man. I really enjoy them. I think that's why I'm so excited to do more of them.
So we're getting a couple of requests for a banjo record. You think that'll ever happen?
No, I'm not that great at the banjo.
You should have Joe show you some tricks while he's down there. He's been taking lessons from a really awesome woman up here.
I'm gonna. I don't know if I'll ever record a banjo album. If I do, I'll probably put it out under a pseudonym so no one will be able to compare Russ Abbott the tattooer to Russ Abbott the banjo player. But man, I really enjoy playing. I actually play like 5 different instruments, but banjo is my favorite, and it's a booger, man. It just like, it gives me a way to sort of relax and chill out and do something that I'm terrible at. And but because I'm terrible at it, I can actually make improvements. Every day I get a little bit better, and that's fun.
So a few more questions from the chat. What's your favorite eternal orange that you would say is comparable to like a Star Bright?
You actually broke up a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. They want to know what your favorite eternal orange is that you would compare to like a Star Bright orange.
I use the one that's called orange.
I don't mean to laugh.
One that's called bright orange, and I use the one that's called bright peach. And I use the one that's called light red, and I use the one that's called perfect orange. I use them all.
Use them all.
The Star Bright orange that I had tattooed in me years ago disappeared
Vanished.
after a couple of years. So, hopefully the Star Bright orange they're putting out now isn't that same pigment. But
I've heard a lot about orange disappearing. I know Guy talks a lot about orange not lasting at all, and he's wanting someone to make the perfect orange that will hold forever.
Yeah, I don't know if it exists. I mean, pigment manufacturers are limited to pigments that are available, and safe for use in cosmetics.
Right.
So, and that's the first step. If it's safe for use in cosmetics, then they can consider trying to use it for tattooing. And then it's a matter of all kinds of technical things that I don't know anything about. But my guess is that, our pigment suppliers aren't inventing new pigment sources. They're just using what's available and mixing it with things.
They should look into Kraft macaroni and cheese because that is a seriously bright orange.
For sure.
Don't ever tattoo with that, anybody that's watching.
But it's not as bright if you do.
Right.
It seems like.
So, can you talk a little bit about color theory in general and where someone might be able to learn a little bit about color theory, especially when it applies to tattooing? I know your color wheel will help them.
Yeah, I offer a live seminar at tattoo conventions, and then you guys at Tattoo Now have a recording of the seminar that I did at the Paradise Gathering last year. So the new Abbott color wheel stuff isn't quite in there yet for that seminar, but it is still a great introductory course on color theory and how it relates to tattooing. I learned a lot of it through various books that are just out. I mean, I read everything there is on the subject, really. So, I mean, the information's out there, but as far as relating it to tattooing, I don't know of any other place to do that other than my book, or my seminar.
When's the next time you're doing your seminar live?
The next time is at the Portland Tattoo Expo, which I wish I could tell you the dates of that, but it is coming up soon.
All right, on. Well, hey, thanks for being with us and talking about your project. If people want to find out more about it, where's a good place for them to go?
The easiest way I can get you there is to go to Kickstarter.com and search for Abbott Color Wheel, or visit my Instagram, and there's like 20 posts about it over the last 5 days that have links to everything. But go to Kickstarter, watch the video if you haven't seen it already, read through everything, and please become a backer, and put me at ease, because I really want to see this thing work, and I'm really excited to share it with everyone.
Well, we want to see it work too. Thank you for being a guest. For anyone who didn't see the video, we're going to play it for you guys right now, and you'll be able to see what Russ is talking about. And go to Kickstarter.com and look up Russ Abbott and look up the Abbott Color Wheel and back him, because this is a great project. Everyone needs to up their game a little bit, and this color theory thing will help you. Russ, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, Ben.
And everybody else, we'll be back right after we show you Russ Abbott's Kickstarter video. We'll be back with Tattoo Now Network News. Stay tuned.
All right, thanks.
Hi, I'm Russ Abbott. I'd like to start by thanking everyone who supported my original Kickstarter for Ornamental Archive. The book is out now and it's doing great. Today I'm excited to present a new project called the Abbott Color Wheel. When I started tattooing in 1997, the colors available to tattooists were much more limited than they are today. We had all of the basic colors, but if you wanted something like the color khaki, you had to mix that yourself. Well, thanks to great companies like Eternal Ink, we now have a wide gamut of colors to choose from. As I've worked with the colors and prepared seminar materials over the years, I've started classifying and sorting the available tattoo inks into categories. I found that by considering the precise hue, value, and saturation of the colors that I'm choosing, I can make more informed decisions and produce a finer tattoo. So last year, I decided to embark on a massive undertaking. I wanted to design the world's first complete color wheel for tattoo artists. Since I work exclusively with Eternal Ink, I chose to focus on their entire line of pigments. After countless iterations and design changes, we finally achieved a design that met my approval. The Abbott Color Wheel was born. Earlier this year, I unveiled the new design at the Detroit Motor City Tattoo Expo. The response was overwhelmingly positive. Artists were really excited to have a visual guide to go along with their tattoo inks. So many artists were interested in purchasing prints of the color wheel that I ended up selling out in just a few days. But I knew I could do better. Since the Abbott Color Wheel features the entire line of Eternal Ink, I wanted to find a way to isolate specific color schemes and turn the color wheel into a color scheme visualization tool. In his amazing book Color and Light, illustrator and painter James Gurney introduced the idea of the gamut mask. I found that the gamut mask concept works really well with my color wheel design. So here's how it works. By placing the mask on top of the wheel, the artist can quickly visualize a standardized color scheme and immediately determine the best color choices for the piece. Rotating the wheel underneath the mask will change the colors, but will still keep the visual relationship of the color scheme intact. Since the package includes a variety of masks, one of them is certain to get you really close to a working color scheme that you can use as a starting point in your tattoo project. The gamut masks that I've included with the wheel cover all of the standard color schemes that I teach in my seminar. In addition, the inside flaps of the package feature highlights from my seminar that will help you get the most of the Abbott Color Wheel. I know I love having my color wheel easily visible while I'm pouring out colors and tattooing, so I'm also including a low-tack adhesive decal of the color wheel. Just remove the backing and apply the print to any smooth surface. It's removable, so it won't damage your studio walls. As I learned with my first project, Ornamental Archive, creating, producing, and fulfilling a creative project like this takes a massive amount of dedication and follow-through. I'm back on Kickstarter today because I believe that I've made something that is truly useful for tattoo artists like myself. I've had a ton of great feedback from fellow tattoo artists, and I'm confident that this product will improve the process for color tattooing. If you start with a good value study and then use the Abbott color wheel to help with color choices, you will be amazed at the results in your work. Well, I hope that you will take the time to read through the rest of the info below and study the available rewards. Choose a reward level that works best for you and share this project with your fellow artists. Thank you.
And now, Tattoo Now Network News.
Hi everybody, I'm Rebecca Hanlon from Tattoo Now, coming at you with the network news. Kicking it off tonight is going to be a little bit about our mini magazine. Our first issue has been flying off the shelves. It was super fun to put together, and we are about to come out with our second issue in time for the London convention, which we will tell you a little bit more about later. So we've been really busy behind the scenes working to put together the second issue, pulling some of the best tattoo images off the Tattoo Now website. And we urge all of the tattooers out there to be uploading really high-res print quality photos so you can have a chance to make it into the next issue. We're excited to see what you've been working on. So after that, a different segment within our mini magazine is actually all about conventions and conferences, and we know everybody's always going all over the place, traveling around, trying to learn as much as they can. So something that's coming up really soon is the London Convention that I had just mentioned, and that's going to be going on from September 26th to the 28th in the Tobacco Dock in London. It's going to be a really great time. You should stop by the Off the Map table and check in with Alex DePasse, Jeff Gogwe, David Corden, and Johnny Smith. And you know, above and beyond that, there are going to be so many other amazing artists there. So you should absolutely hop on over, check everything out. There's going to be a lot of great stuff going on. Another really exciting thing coming down the pipeline is the Worldwide Tattoo Conference. That's going to be happening at the beginning of November from the 10th to the 12th. In Venice, Italy, obviously not the worst place to go and check out and be learning. It's going to be a lot of great seminars, a lot of great people there. Check out some of the best: Alex DePasse, Nico Hurtado, Jeff Gogwe, Carlos Torres, Shige will be here from Japan, which is absolutely amazing, in Europe for the first time doing his own seminar. It's going to be a really special opportunity to take part in. And two of the greats that we just got a chance to talk to a little bit earlier in this segment, Guy Aitchison will be Skyping in and talking to us, and also Russ Abbott will be there in person, giving us all sorts of wonderful tips and tricks. There's going to be great seminars about fine art techniques and also business seminars, management, all sorts of stuff. There's going to be discussion panels with all of the greats, and you're going to be learning a lot. There's going to be a lot of talking, and you know, there's going to be a lot of wonderful energy coming out of that. So you definitely don't want to miss it. So hop on the Worldwide Tattoo Conference website, check everything out, get your ticket, and if you can't be there and you are listening to us now, we highly recommend that you hop on and get a webcast ticket, because we will be webcasting for 3 full days. You won't miss anything. It'll be as if you're there. So take 3 days off of work and hop online and join us in any way you can. So after that, moving on, there's all sorts of different equipment out there right now, all sorts of great things that artists are adding to their collection. And one great thing that we have been working with recently are the Ego tattoo machines. They come in all sorts of different fun colors, which can appeal to all sorts of different people, but also it's extremely lightweight. It is really great on the wrists. You want to save your wrists as much as possible, so that design is working with, you know, trying to avoid carpal tunnel and all of those terrible things that come with working in this medium. So yeah, go on, check them out, egotattoomachines.com. Another exciting thing coming from one of the artists within our network, we just launched a really amazing website. I highly recommend you going to check out Mallory's new website. It's at merkabatattoo.com. That's MERKABA tattoo.com. It's a brand new custom website. Like I said, it is a crisp, clean, kind of white backdrop, which really makes her full color tattoos pop. So it's really responsive. So if you're looking at it on your iPad or your iPhone or on your desktop, it'll adjust so you can really get the most out of your viewing experience. And that website was put together by our very own designer, Aaron, and he is producing great things all the time. We are very lucky to have such great people on staff at Tattoo Now. Another awesome feature that was added to an artist's website was Josh Sahoza's got a store set up on his website. So now you can go on to his website and purchase all sorts of different art that he's done, so different prints, but also extending into t-shirts and all that type of stuff. So really the possibilities are endless. Hop on there. He's an artist out of Pittsburgh and actually was just at Off the Map East Hampton doing a guest spot. He's doing really great work. He's learning a lot, developing a lot, and doing some really great tattoos. So you should hop on to IamNotAllThereMyself.com and check out what he's up to, and also check out that great store. If you're a tattoo artist looking to expand on your current website, we're happy to help. There's all sorts of different stuff that you can add on. Going off of that, Off the Map East Hampton is always doing really great stuff. So there is a charity event coming down the pipeline. It has been going on throughout the course of September. Will be going on till the end of the month, and it is centered around the Habitat for Humanity. So that's an organization that aims to strengthen communities by empowering low-income families to kind of change and improve their lives through home ownership and kind of being able to connect to not only their communities, but skill. So that's a really great thing that we're happy to support. And so throughout the course of September, you can stop into Off the Map East Hampton and buy a $1 raffle ticket. And that $1 raffle ticket will enter you into a giveaway that could potentially win you a $300 gift certificate for some amazing tattoo hours at Off the Map. And that's just a really great opportunity. You should stop in. You should get a raffle ticket. You should get one for a friend, because why not? Everybody loves gifts. Everybody loves, well, maybe not everybody loves tattoos, but I'm sure you have a friend that likes tattoos that would like a raffle ticket for this. So on the theme of charity and overall togetherness, there's a great tattoo event happening on November 23rd. Mark your calendars for the Tattoo for the Arts event. This is going to happen, and it's going to be raising money for charities that are focused on the development of the arts. So music, dance, painting, tattooing, all sorts of different stuff. Art is an overall umbrella, and there's all sorts of different stuff going on underneath it. So we are going to be joined by 30 to 40 different tattoo shops around the world. Yes, the world. And people are going to be coming together and raising money for this on the same day. So for the same cause, the same day, we're all going to be banding together, stronger together, strength in numbers, and we're going to be making a difference together. So that is a little snapshot of the news that's happening right now in the tattoo world. Excited to be bringing that to you. Stay tuned, because after this, we're going to have a great little segment about the Tattoo of the Day features. So hang tight. See you guys soon.
So, if you like our show, warts and all, please go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, comment, good or bad, we want to know. Share it with your friends, post about it on Instagram and all the other social medias. We want to get out there to everybody. This is a labor of love. We're also available on community access. You can watch us on your TV. Go to your local cable access station, tell them to go to pegmedia.org, and they can download our show for free and play it on your TV. So when you are stoned and up really late, you'll be able to see us in your living room without your computer. A couple things I want to point out. The magazine that Rebecca was talking about in Tattoo Now Network News was this little mini mag right here. If you're a Tattoo Now member, you already know about this magazine because chances are you're featured in it. If you don't know about this magazine, this is a little trade magazine that we've been putting out. It has featured artists that are Tattoo Now artists and our guest artists that are at Off the Map. The artists that upload print quality images to tattoonow.com get priority, and they get in this magazine. If you're a tattoo artist and you want to get in this, sign up with a Tattoo Now membership and you can be in here. If you're not a tattoo artist and you just want to get this magazine, go to tattoonow.com and you can sign up and we'll send it to you. It's only about $10 for the whole year. We'll send it to you every quarter. You'll get a brand new one. If you're not down with the paper stuff, there's a digital version available for you. Something else I want to tell you about is something I'm very proud of. It's something I've been working on for a long time. You guys have seen the Bob Tyrell DVD, I'm sure. We sold out of those very quickly. I think Bob has a few. But what we do have is the Bob Tyrell special edition version. So you get the DVD, which you've seen, I'm sure. It's signed by Bob himself. I know, I brought them to him. You get these Bob Tyrell prints that were made by Joe King, one of our artists. These are true to life, real size Bob Tyrell prints, hand numbered. You'll get an individual one. There's only 100. Bob doesn't make very many prints, so it's a good opportunity to get some. They also come with a great sticker pack in one of the prints. They're pretty rad. They've got a road case. We got a Marshall stack, cassette tape. You can't get these anywhere unless you buy this collector's edition. You get a guitar pick from Bob himself, and my favorite part, Bob Tyrell koozie. When have you seen one of these? Never, because they don't exist, and the only place you can get one is with this collector pack. You can get it at tattoonow.com, or you can get it from Bob himself at any convention that he might be at. I know he's got all this stuff with him. In conclusion, thank you for watching. I hope you tune in on September 28th. We're going to be talking with Aaron Chance and a to-be-determined guest, which you might be able to pick. If you got an idea for a guest, either write it in the chat room now or email us at tattoonow@tattoonow.com and tell us who you want to see. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you hate. We want to know. And as always, thank you for watching. Tune in on the 28th. We'll be waiting for you. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Take it easy.